Matt, thanks for joining us on the medical room after the West Coast game on the weekend. How did the boys pull up after that game?
Yeah, not too bad. It was fairly warm conditions in the first half, and certainly after the game, guys were pretty fatigued, but no different to any other game of AFL football. And we're able to get the flight back out of Perth that night. Got back into Melbourne just after midnight, and they've had a good couple of days of recovery and some light training, and we'll have our main session Thursday and get back into it.
They had 2 solid weeks of training leading into the West Coast game with the bye in between. How much of an impact did the bye have in freshening up the boys?
Yeah, I think it was good. It also gave the coaches an opportunity to reinforce some key points in terms of things that we weren't doing quite as well as what the coaches want the players to do. And so, there was that opportunity to really focus on some key training aspects. But certainly all the measures that we take to analyse players' readiness and wellness, they're all a lot better after the bye, which you would expect to be the case when you give guys a weekend off a game of footy.
Dan Jackson was the main injury concern out of the West Coast game with a leg injury. How's he going?
Yeah, he had X-ray and MRI scans done yesterday, and they were really positive, which is great. So, he's some chance. We'll just see how he goes later this week. So essentially, he's got a corky to his shin, and it was a pretty big hit. So it looks like he might have escaped it fairly well, and so we'll just wait and see how he goes over the next few days. But the early signs are pretty promising that it's not going to be too much of an issue.
Chris Newman with his knee injury, he's had a week off now. How's he tracking, and is he likely to maybe see a couple of games towards the end of the season?
Yeah, that's our plan. We're really optimistic. I know Chris is really keen to get back out and play, and he's had 3 running sessions now and felt really good with those sessions. Doing a bit more each time. So, really it's just a matter of us building him up over the next week or so and see how he responds to that increased workload. And hopefully we can see him play for a couple of games at the end of the year.
Kel Moore has obviously been injured for most of the season. Had some more surgery yesterday.
Yeah, the surgery was quite significant that he had done yesterday, and he's dealing with a degenerative hip problem. So it's not something that can be done or sorted out through minor procedures. So we took the path of being fairly aggressive and making sure that what we did was hopefully really going to help him for the long term. Obviously it's only early days, so we need to see how he goes. But at this stage, we expect that he'll be able to perform a pretty solid pre-season leading into the 2012 year.
Another player that's been out for a lot of the year is Dan Connors. What's his situation at the moment?
Yeah, Dan's really frustrated, and as we all are internally, but it's the nature of tendon-related injuries. So he's got an issue with tendon in his quad, and notoriously they're slow to heal, and so he's quite good up to about 90%. But just seems to struggle at that top end. So, we obviously don't want to push it and cause a bigger problem, which means we need to be fairly conservative with it and allow it to heal and strengthen. But he's pretty close. He had a really good session today. He felt really good. So, we're hopeful that he'll still see some good game time in the next couple of weeks as well.
And some of the longer-term injuries that we've got at the moment, Dylan Grimes, Dave Asprey, Tom Derricks, how are they all tracking with theirs?
Yeah, Dylan's started to join in a little bit of training, which is great. He's running at top speed without any problems. Really, quite aggressive change of direction, acceleration, deceleration. So a lot of very specific footy movements and coping really well with those. So, it's great to see him get to that level where he's not far off being able to join in full training with the group. And the other guys, are obviously taking a fairly conservative approach because, they've got pretty significant injuries that they've come from, and but running well. Certainly, Dave's starting to get to that path, and Tom's still a little bit behind that with the ankle surgery.
And the group as a whole, I guess, just finishing off the season with the last 4 weeks. Any major concerns about fitness and their well-being at the minute?
Yeah, it's always an interesting time of the year. I think, obviously, with a really young group, it's it's a tough season. It's a tough season for any group, whether they're mature or inexperienced, but certainly an inexperienced group, it can be challenging. But I think we see at this time of the year that there's that psychological boost of knowing that, okay, we've only got 4 games to get as much out of this year as we possibly can, and the coaches are really driving them hard about, and as are the leadership group about, we want to win games of footy. We don't want to just fall away for this last month of the season. So that's our ambition. The guys are training really hard. and we have high expectations that we'll win games of footy before the season's finished.
Thanks for your time.
No worries, mate.